Welcome to the Console Xplosion podcast. You're listening to Matt from Edmonton, Alberta.
And this is Kaztek from Ottawa, Ontario.
Howdy doody.
Howdy doody to you.
Oh.
Doody doody.
Me doody, very goody.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a good week.
It's almost Christmas.
It is almost Christmas, and in fact, it is our final week for this year. So, there's ups and there's downs. I mean, I'm happy I get a vacation.
Yep.
But
gotta let you out of the cage for the weekend, eh? Or for a week.
Just a weekend. I gotta go into my workers' rights. Make sure I'm getting my dues.
There are no rights in Canada.
What are you talking about? There's all kinds of different rights.
We'll work you to the bone. Or I'll hire foreign workers.
Let's not dwell onto that one.
Do you not like the foreign workers?
Don't get me started on the foreign worker program, okay?
Oh, I guess from being from Alberta, where it's been kind of, what's the word? Taken advantage of?
Yeah, that you could say that. It's been taken advantage of. I would really like to see the criteria that goes into selecting these individuals. Not to discredit anybody, but I gotta watch what I say about anything, because we're not even supposed to talk about this. All I'm saying is that I feel they're maybe a little too loosey-goosey with that.
Yes, and the companies that bring them in get $3,000 a month.
That's awesome. I mean, they have it good though. They get a contracted, guaranteed work for, I hear it's like 5 years or something. Like, I used to work at Tim Hortons when the foreign worker program, I think, was just starting to be implemented.
Mm-hmm.
And I spoke with a couple of them that were there for, that reason. And, they told me it was 5 years. They get a place to stay. They get, full accommodation hookup. And all they're required to do is be there for the next 5 years. You just got to show up for your time.
And then they wonder why Alberta has such a high unemployment rate.
Well, let's be fair. Nobody wants to work those jobs. I mean, when I was 14 years old, I did that. I feel that's rite of passage. I mean, I say that now because I did it. It's been almost like 10 years for me. But and it's unfair to think that kids today probably won't or don't do it. Because frankly, I think there's more adults that need this work more than kids do. But, I digress.
Myself being one of them.
Really?
When I left my job and then trying to find a new job in Calgary, it was like pulling teeth.
Well, you're never supposed to leave a job until you have another one in reserve.
Yeah, but you leave it when it affects your family. So
that is
I left it thinking, well, it's Calgary, job boom, should be easy. No.
Well, it is if you're looking into oil and gas. There's all kinds of opportunity for that.
But my hands aren't made for that. They're made for loving.
That's fine.
I'm an office type person. That's the unfortunate thing. I can't be a manual laborer. It's not my deal.
Hey,
paperwork. I can push papers.
Thing is, it's not for everybody. The problem is that it's such a big industry in this province that it's everywhere. You can't escape it.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to find any decent pay, comparatively to the alternative, it is amazingly good. All you got to do is leave town for 2 weeks and come back for 4 days.
Yeah.
That's all you got to do, and it's like clockwork. You just go out, do your shit, come back home, and then go back out. I don't like leaving the city, and that's the reason I haven't done it yet. That's the only reason. I don't want to leave my friends and my family. People that go out there to places like Fort McMurray and Grand Prairie and stuff like that, they're depressed. They hate themselves. They're so upset with life, and they don't glamorize it in any way, shape, or form, unless you want to be like that dick with the big ass truck, which you don't even get time to play with.
Mm-hmm.
You can't like enjoy yourself.
No.
You really can't.
No.
And that is because they'll accept anybody, even if you don't have a high school diploma. Like, that's not even a requirement for these guys. They don't give a shit. It's manual labor.
Mm-hmm.
You just got to be cool with the thought of maybe dying someday.
And having hooks.
For hands?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of people out there that can do it right, and they all manage it well. Human beings have been doing it for years.
Yeah.
And frankly, like, I'm not a guy that's complaining about manual labor. Frankly, I like it. It's easy for me to just think of other things. I don't have to focus on my work. It's so subconscious to me that, you know, your mind can wander in other directions. You can think of, like, work and other shit that you got to deal with when you get out. It's just nice. That's all I'm saying, you know. Then I come home and I play video games. You know, it's an easy life.
Mm-hmm. For me, this is the life. Doing what I like. It's playing video games, talking about it, doing podcasts, talking to all of you. It's great. I enjoy it.
And how long have we been doing it now? This is going to be podcast number 13, I think.
13 officially.
13 weeks we've been doing this, so...
And there's been 4 weeks where we missed.
Yes, but collectively we've got about 3 months worth of content.
Yeah.
Which I think is a pretty good run, considering we started this after the summer, I think. Mm-hmm. So...
Yep.
Yeah.
Doing pretty good, yeah.
Pat on the back, sir.
Yeah. You know, Console Xplosion officially technically started in February of 2014. That's when all the registrations were paid for, but
there you
officially started 2013.
Okay.
For planning process and everything, probably the start of December of 2013. Everything was started and balls were rolling, and the original aspect of the whole Console Xplosion started. February 2014, all registrations and everything was paid for. So we became an official business. And then we didn't get a site till when? August?
You tell me. Oh, right. I was there. I was part of that. It's been so long now. I'm like, oh, we've always had a website. What are you talking about?
So accustomed to it now, eh?
I guess by the time I got in, yeah, it took a couple of months. Like, yeah, I would say August would have been about that time.
Around August. So when you think about it,
vacation.
So from August to now, really, we've been going forward, and I think we're doing pretty good. So, you know, I appreciate it. I appreciate all the hard work everyone's done, and I tip my hat to all the listeners who listen to us weekly.
And also, we gotta tip our hat to the upcoming shows that we have here for the site. All the newcomers that we've had in the last month, like,
yeah,
we've almost kicked it into full gear at this point.
Yes, and it's
A Squared Reviews, La Lay Misfit Gamer, and I'm sorry, that was my phone.
Yeah, so, you know, big year. 2015 is a big year. New shows being debuted internally, new shows being debuted externally. So, yeah, you know, hopefully we'll have bringing back some old shows. We'll see about that, but I'm excited. I think going forth, it's exciting.
Oh, no doubt, absolutely. And like, this hasn't even been a full year for me.
Yeah.
And so I'm really excited to see what's going to happen when we can actually go into a new year with some cavalry and actually go out onto our voyage, adventure, whatever kind of metaphor I'm trying to make work for this. I'm just excited to see what's going to happen in the new year, because it's not just us. There's now a team, and it's awesome.
There's now a team, and that team is going to bring, you know, all you people. It's going to bring all of you great content, and, you know, excitement.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking forward to that for sure. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. Now, I know how excited everyone can get when they're looking forward to the latest game release. Everybody does it. We've all experienced it. Frankly, I've taken a step back. I have yet to own a next gen console. I mean, there's still shit on the 360, but my PC's my new console. Nonetheless, we like to be the first people to buy the new titles. And there has been an ongoing issue, I feel, that's been rising over the course of this year, which is broken games being pressed on a disc and shipped to stores.
Yes. Yes.
Now, I thought this would be a topic to discuss, even though we did have a whole show on this sort of thing already. I feel more developments have happened. I think it's been a good month and a half or so since we last talked, and new things have come about
hmm
in the process, and I've seen the culture change as a result of it. And I just feel, this is probably the biggest thing to talk about, not Gamerskate. And this being our last show, I wanted us to go out on a high note. So,
Last
Kaz,
show for the season.
last show for the season, yes, just a clarification.
Well, no, I totally agree. And I think when I first started the site, one of the biggest gripes that I had to be Batman Origins. The game came out, Montreal, Warner Brothers Montreal, took the reins for that game and completely messed it up.
Well, yeah, there's plenty of these games messed up. I think what's happening here is developers are being pressured to work under very small deadlines. Half of these games, like, when they start development, like, they're probably in alpha by the time they're announced to us. Like, I feel these projects already start happening as soon as the last game ships. Like, that's how prompt they are on this stuff. But with that, they're expecting the game to be released, ready, and shipped by next year. Like, they're not even giving them a whole, even 2 years window. Like, development times, developers used to take their time when it came to making a game. Nowadays, it just seems like we just gotta keep pushing wood into the fire. We gotta keep fueling this thing. Otherwise, it's gonna die out. Like, are they milking it for every penny? Is this what they're trying to do here? Is just keep feeding that demand? Is there a demand out there for this many Assassin's Creed games? I think is the question I'm getting at.
Um, well, personally, I've only played one Assassin's Creed, and that was the first one.
And you didn't continue playing because
By the time I finished it, it was on Revolution
okay.
for the Vita. So that was what? One, so two, three, Revolution, Brotherhood. So about 5 games.
No, Revolution was the fourth.
No, no, not Revolution. Libertation.
Revelations. Oh, Liberation.
Liberation. That's
Isn't that
it.
the one on the Vita?
That's the one on the Vita. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So
Well,
that
that
yeah,
one
that's
came
like
out.
six. That's like 6 iterations in. I think that was the one they put out before Black Sails,
Yes. Yeah. To
or
tie
maybe
the
it was
story
before
in.
three. No, I'm sorry, that could have been before Assassin's Creed 3.
I think it was before 3. It was like to tie the story in or somehow. But anyways,
Yeah.
those are the ones that I knew of. And by the time I finished the first one, bam, it was like, wow, I'm a little behind.
Well, uh, yeah, I don't know. I was trying to keep consistent with the Assassin's Creed timeline. I played the last one I tried to play was Assassin's Creed 3. I played everything up to that point. The second one, the very second Assassin's Creed game, I completed 100%. Loved it. Got every last feather, every last chest, every last flag, and I got nothing for it. I was so pissed, but I got an achievement, so I get those bragging rights. Aside from that, though, the first game, just to go back a few steps, It took you a whole few years to finally get it done. Was that just from other games getting you distracted? You just didn't get into it, or was there something wrong? Because I personally experienced a severe technical error while playing it, and the game was not perfect by any means.
No, for me it was played it, started
But
it.
was it not broken for you in some parts? It wasn't perfect. It was back in
No.
those days. It was ambitious.
Yeah, well, it would freeze when you'd go back to the real world.
I got a red ring. My
That's an
Xbox
Xbox.
crashed on it. That's
That's
how
that's normal with
bad.
Xbox. That's normal with Xbox.
That's how bad it was. So I didn't actually get to finish playing the first one. And I just
Uh,
moved on to Assassin's Creed 2. And now I try to go back and I can't because Altair is so stiff. He's got no freedom in comparison to Ezio. Just even comparing the two, it's they're completely different. And the first game had a lot of good things going for it. It was, if anything, an alpha to what I believe is the real Assassin's Creed game, which is number 2,
mhm.
where it really starts.
Yeah.
I mean, they tied all the history and the lore, so they still gave Altair significance, which is totally fine for me. I was cool with that. I got his armor. It made my guy badass. That's really sweet. But it was more refined. It was good. Like, I didn't... You experienced game glitches, but it didn't break the game and stop you from playing it. It was just like one of the civilians, like, got stuck on a ladder, or, you know, they're glitching through the ground. Like, that kind of stuff happened.
Hmm.
But they
Yeah.
would refine it with patchwork, and now it just seems like the game, before it's even ready to hit a beta state, gets put out on the shelves so they can get you for your money. I hope everybody realizes this. They're just taking your money, and you're buying yourself a game that's not ready yet, and then they'll just revise with updates. You get one when the game first boots up in your console. You're probably going to get another one in a week from then. Or if nothing arises, maybe nothing will happen. But if people find a problem, the updates are just going to start coming. Like, how many updates have we had for... I can't even remember the game now. It's not The Crew. What was the other racing game? The one that had the issues.
Drive Club. Drive Club.
Thank you. How many updates have we had for that game? And I don't need a technical number. You seem to be monitoring the situation. I know you were excited to play it.
Hmm.
Have things sort of subsided as the game like leveled out now?
Sort of, but now that the crews come out, I see that that's taken a big chunk out of it. So,
I see.
you
You
know,
mean
now that
just based on like reception?
a game
Everybody's
that works,
yeah.
I think Drive Club really kind of scorned the people, and because of that, they've jumped to the next open world racing game. And I mean, hands down, I think the crews are really neat game, hands down. So
Would you say it's superior?
just the beta itself that was released, I played that crew beta
Okay.
non-stop.
Oh yeah.
It was just that good.
Hmm.
So yeah, um, I think I think Drive Club could really learn from that.
Well, I don't know. I don't think we're gonna see a new Drive Club.
No.
They'll probably want to put it to rest because it'll be tainted by that reputation.
Hmm.
Like, if you announce Drive Club 2, that's setting itself up for ridicule right off the bat.
Yeah.
And that's not good for marketing, so we could probably call that quits on that franchise. But what other games have we had this year that have been buggy? Oh, little game, Assassin's Creed, Unity. I heard that they held off on putting the patch out today.
Why?
I don't know.
They want people to suffer more?
Maybe
They want to give out more free games?
maybe they had just a few more bits of code they wanted to throw in there.
Yeah, and the patches cost quite a bit to implement too, but I mean, when the damage is done, the damage is done.
Yeah, and it's
I mean,
more. Sorry, go ahead.
yeah,
I
I
was
was gonna
doing the
say,
blabbing.
if you compare the Batman franchise, with the new Batman game coming out, they've put all the resources into this one. and only time will tell once it's released if it is as good as it's
Yeah.
supposedly supposed to be. So,
Well, there's no doubt that they're banking on the Arkham brand. Like that's they're waving the flag, high and mighty. They're certainly proud of it. Let's just hope that it's not like a cash grab.
yeah.
And it's just like, oh, you know this. This is a franchise you love. It's great. Blah blah blah.
But I mean, they did get hurt pretty bad from Origins.
Well, Origins was a different team, was it? I don't think it was Rocksteady.
No, no, no. It
Yeah.
was Warner Brothers Montreal, but this is why Rocksteady's come back to do it. Is because, oh shit, you guys fucked up our franchise. We got to fix it.
I heard, and this is recent, Calendar Man exposed some Easter egg in Arkham City that showed Arkham Knight. This next one's called. It's been teased since Arkham City. It's been in the game. Gamers just haven't found it up until this point.
I haven't seen anything about that.
It's all been part of the grand scheme of things. If anything, Arkham Origins is like what Call of Duty was for Treyarch when now I can't think of the Infinity Ward, excuse me. When Infinity Ward was done developing Modern Warfare, it would go to Treyarch and they would release their Call of Duty game the following year. And it just, they would leapfrog on each other. That's how that worked.
So again, shitty Assassin's Creed, shitty Batman.
Which is really, like, right now Assassin's Creed seems to be the big name that's tossed around. But this is an ever-growing trend. It's not just limited to them, although they seem to be getting it the worst. It's so bad that Ubisoft Montreal had to put out a public apology as well as some compensation for gamers who went out and bought the season pass. The latest DLC, which I think is delayed as well, at least until they can get the game in a stable state. I don't think they're going to even consider releasing any DLC content. But already the first content pack will be free for users.
Yeah, which is good considering. I can go back to Batman Origins. We reached out to them to ask them, why, are these, is there going to be a patch to fix these single player problems? And they wrote back, said, we're not fixing any issues with the single player. We're focusing all our efforts onto the new DLC.
Because as far as they're concerned, it's fine.
Well, everyone was complaining that it was game breaking and no one could finish it.
Well,
and that the game was crap because of it.
I'm sure they could just toss a couple patches out there. Like, nobody's going to... Well, maybe some people will bat an eye if a patch is released, but, it's not like it has to be talk of the town.
But,
at least the game
it goes
plays,
like this.
It doesn't break.
Well, it is break. It does break.
Does
you can't finish it because of it.
Well, all right. Well, I have a story here.
Okay, well, you read it.
Warner Brothers
refuses to patch Batman Arkham. Here you go.
The team is currently working hard on the upcoming story DLC, and there's currently no plans for releasing another patch to address the issues they have been reported on the forums. Probably because it's an isolated issue. If we do move forward with creating a new patch, it will try to address the progression blocking bugs for players, not the minor glitches that do not prevent one from continuing to play. The issues that are not progression blockers will unfortunately no longer be addressed. We apologize for any inconvenience this has caused for some of you, and want to thank you for having been patient.
So thank you for buying our game. We're not fixing it.
Fuck you.
Fuck you.
$60. Thank you. I'm so happy I got it in a humble bundle.
Yeah, that's good though. It's things like that, but that are good, and it'd be interesting to know what the humble bundle executives are pulling in though. When you talk about charities, I know there's a lot of charities out there that are ripping off,
like breast cancer.
Yeah,
entirely is nothing more than an industry to generate money for big executives.
Yeah,
there's a documentary on it, people. You can watch it.
Susan G. Coleman.
Now you can't Sorry, you talk.
I was gonna say the Susan G. Komen one is the biggest one. Only 12% of their money raised will go to research. The rest of it goes to the pockets of people.
Well, you got to pay for branding and all that merchandising and traveling and building those events, all that awareness. You need
Yeah,
that money.
having, the WWE help you promote this just for you to take the money that they help you raise to pay yourself.
Concussions for breast cancer.
Yeah. It's ridiculous, and it's just, breast cancer organizations, but you have ones that actually do the work and actually try to do it. But for me, I won't give money to breast cancer research unless I look into it and figure out where that money's going.
And it really sucks that in this day and age we almost have to expect this conspiracy to just sort of find its way to all charities, right?
Yes.
Like, I hate to say it, but I too can be as much of a skeptic, although I like to give them the benefit of the doubt. Although I do feel there are other organizations that can represent themselves better.
Yeah.
Some that could maybe do a better job portraying, the nice guy approach. But not saying that they're not, But you're just harassed all the time from all these charities. And I call it harassment because they're all begging for money. Not to sound, like
cynical.
Well, yeah, I hate to repeat the word, but I give it when I can. But when you have like 6 different organizations coming after you, and it's just anything, it's like, well, yes, anything is anything. But
Yeah.
Walk with me here, Jared. We're talking.
Yeah.
Don't leave me hanging, man.
No, like I said, I totally agree with you. I think it's just, there's almost got to be,
Can you? I don't know if it's morally right, but if they could regulate charities.
That's what I was just gonna get at. They need to have some sort of regulation, that looks into how much you get, what you pay for, X amount of money going where, or they should be able to post that, right? Post that information, for people to see, to go on their website. Where's their financials going, right? Our financials are going here. X amount is here.
It's all donated, right? So it's completely tax free. None of that needs to be like recorded or booked. They just got to give a number. Like, where's all that going, right?
Yep. We raised $1 million this year.
It's like, that's great. Was it 2 million? Like, was there more?
Well, no, it's like they need to, on their website state how much they raised in the year. So this year we raised $1 million. 500,000 of that went to this organization or went to this for research, and another 500,000 went to the executive and the executive board.
Yeah.
Right? It needs to be split up that way. It needs to be split up enough to people know where it's going. Because if less than 50% of my money that I'm giving to an organization is not going to where it needs to go, then I'm not donating to it.
An organization that will more or less call itself a non-profit.
Yes.
So
that are profiting off the money people are giving them.
So it's not perceived as you giving them your money. It's you giving your money to whatever their cause is.
Mm-hmm. And then they're free to do what they want with it.
Exactly.
Which is just
There's no
bullshit.
bill of sale. There's no record of it. All that has taken place is that social interaction.
Yeah.
And so only you and that individual have that record kept in their heads. And I mean, come on.
It's not fair.
It's not fair. It's really not fair. And I've heard similar things, and I don't want to dwell too much further on this subject because I'm going to start talking about churches. Because when they get their donations, none of that is taxed either. And people do believe, well, seems to be more speak now of churches having to pay for taxes because, they still got property and stuff. They're taking up space, but they're completely negated from that responsibility because it's a religious right or something.
It's just dumb. And that's the way, unfortunately, the world we live in now is run. Even our politicians aren't looked after properly, and look at what they're doing.
But our population, we've all been there before. We've dealt with this shit in the past, and we've overcome that. So naturally, this process will work itself out. But we're starting to be made more aware, and
Yeah,
we're starting to ask the right questions, and the right course of actions are taking place. So I just, I don't see this lasting much longer. Of course, when documentaries are out there exposing all of this, like the breast cancer thing,
yeah.
this will eventually stir something up. Like Blackfish did wonders for what they were trying to do, and now everybody hates SeaWorld.
But people still go. It didn't shut it down.
It's
What they
either,
wanted.
and I'm not going to call it ignorance because I've been to SeaWorld. I really do enjoy the atmosphere that they give there, but I mean, I probably won't ever go back.
I've never been. I've watched the documentary.
Yeah,
I'm still gonna go. I'm still gonna go. I'm
just
still
to
gonna
see
bring
what
my
it's
daughter
about.
to see it. And but compared to like the Vancouver Aquarium, I like the Vancouver Aquarium because they teach you about everything, right? They
Yeah,
teach you about the animals they have and everything.
yeah.
I
SeaWorld
don't
is
know.
more like a theme park, and then they have a
Yeah,
killer whale that puts on a show for you. Like the wrong it's not. I don't think it's on the same level when you compare an aquarium to SeaWorld.
no.
I don't think so. Just
But if per se, um, the SeaWorld were to be more like
I think it would
an
be
aquarium,
different because
yeah.
with an aquarium, like these fish are living in that tank. It's an ecosystem. Like if it was bad to put fish in an aquarium, we wouldn't do it in our own house.
Hmm.
That is still there, and they have people that tend to the animals or to the fish, and like that's happening, and they're being cared and nurtured. And not to say that they're not having that in SeaWorld, it's just how they're keeping these fish in captivity is just the way they're treating them as it's shown in the documentary. Like go to the documentary, they do a far better job of really making a point. But and I loved The Cove, the first documentary that they did. That was awesome. But
Yeah.
I mean, it's not awesome what's happening, but it was awesome nonetheless because I love documentaries and it's a good documentary. SeaWorld is just as good. In
SeaWorld is
comparison,
scum.
it,
Per
once
says
once you
Matt.
get to the nitty gritty, yeah, maybe the people working with the killer whale aren't scum, but it's the corporation behind the whole thing. It's the corporate greed that is incorporated in this entire thing. It's just we want a killer whale because no one else out there puts on a show with a killer whale, and I don't know if anyone else does. That just seems to be what SeaWorld wants to be recognized for is Shamu and her big show. So
Well, doesn't Canada have Marineland?
I guess so. I've never been. Is that in Ontario?
Yeah, yeah. I guess I could check it out.
Yeah, why don't you tell me about your local SeaWorld?
But nobody's bitching about that.
Well, because SeaWorld is the one that was exposed for all this. Everyone else is, I mean, maybe questions are being raised, but everyone else still has that privacy.
See, to me, like that type of thing, directing your anger at one but not the other is just
It's
ignorance of
hypocritical.
people.
It's
Yeah,
completely
yeah.
ignorant. I agree with that. I mean, if you're going to come down on SeaWorld, you might as well come down on the entire thing and break that chain. But
Hmm.
I guess you got to start somewhere. We completely deviated off our main path. We've gone from broken games to charities to documentaries to
Yeah.
whatever the hell we're talking about now. Uh, I guess that's how it works here.
We bring the news of everything
I, I
sometimes.
I just like to bring the discussion. I don't. I mean, the news is secondary in my books. I like the talkie, although I almost do too much talkie.
You like the sound of your own voice.
I don't really. I like to have a depth or a deep conversation.
You don't get those deep philosophical conversations from the co-op couch.
Oh yes, they get philosophical.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I've heard some of them. Even yesterday's little excursion.
Oh yeah, yeah. Shit, it's never a dull moment.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. So,
Anyways, we should
given the,
probably steer back towards the broken games.
that's what I was gonna do.
Oh well, I
That's,
did it first.
okay. Well, then continue on then.
Back in the day, you could just go to a store, even a video store, and get a game, and it would work. There would be no. I mean, maybe there might be some glitches, but then you just blow on the bottom and pop it back in. It's good. Or you clean the disc. It's fixed. Sometimes they'd release patches, by other means. Physical media that you could take home and put in. But that was very limited. Developers almost never did that. I think that was more common with, like, PC-based systems, like, heck, is Commodore too bold to say? I mean, that wasn't even my time. I'm not familiar with the Commodore.
Yeah.
But my point being, this shit didn't happen. And now it's happening all the time. It seems like we're going to hear it within minutes once the game is available, if there's a problem with it. It just seems like clockwork now. We just expect that to be part of the whole shebang. I guess if you could think of it in some aspects, it's not great publicity, but it's still publicity.
Yeah.
And I don't want to think that they're doing it just for that kind of attention, because I don't expect any company to ever think in that sense. But I'm just simply tossing out theories. I'm trying to think, how does this happen? Like, are they trying to put one over our eyes? Like, is it not obvious that the human race is getting smarter? At least the gaming community is smarter. They seem to know. I mean, if a game doesn't work, if it's broken, I mean, you've been speaking of it today already. If a game is to the point where you can't even progress through the story and complete it, like, that's just unacceptable. Give me my fucking money back. That's when everybody's entitled to it. It's just
exactly,
and I
and
think
that's what I say.
yeah, and that's when the voices are the loudest. We saw it happen with Drive Club.
Yep.
We saw it happen with Assassin's Creed.
Yep.
It happened with Batman Origins, and it seems to still be there, but they're still doing the DLC, so I don't know how that is justified. But
But they pretty much gave you the big middle finger from Warner Brothers, so
yeah, that's just shocking. I mean, Ubisoft at least cares about their people.
yeah.
Now, a few other games out there that experienced issues. I vaguely remember hearing anything about this, but in the first couple of weeks, there was hiccups for the online multiplayer part of Halo: The Master Chief Collection.
Yes.
It just seemed foolish. It seemed almost out of place. Like, all online games have this kind of issue. I don't know how they constantly underestimate the traffic that they're going to get. You should overestimate, and then maybe if you want to cut back on expenses, take some servers out, say a month down the road after release. Just do something. I don't care. Just whatever you do, don't fuck it up on day one.
Yeah.
Because it's going to take a long time for you to recover. Then you're going to have to give out free content and, give it to customer demands because you don't want your company to bottom out and blah blah blah. But people were having issues with multiplayer, wasn't matching them up or what have you. Like, that should even still happen with online games. So
what should even happen with a game that the online worked perfectly back in the day?
well, right, yeah, I guess you're right. I shouldn't say that, but still, if it's not obvious, we are upset, just like the rest of the industry. And how does stuff like that still how does this stuff come out when the game is released, when we have all the news media in the industry getting their versions prior to release so they can have their reviews ready for the game when it's actually put out. I don't see how they don't encounter those kind of game break glitches. Like, I guess granted the games are so big now that it's almost impossible to finish one in time to get the article ready to be put out for the release. Like, I don't know what all is entailed. I'm sure they only get it like within the first 2 weeks before the game's release. But Jared, you're so quiet.
I was just letting you talk. Again, I don't know.
Don't let me talk.
I find it.
I'm talking because you don't talk.
I find it pretty stupid though, with the way that companies like that work. I mean, but then again, it falls again into the whole quote unquote Gamersgate, where media.
We said we wouldn't talk about it.
I know, but I'm just going into it where they talk about media and how media gets what they want, and we'll just say, yeah, you get this, and then they don't give a shit because the game's broken, or this doesn't work, and they just say, give us high marks anyways.
Yes, the media just exploits the fuck out of this shit.
Yeah, and they'll willy-nilly give these developers high marks, and let's take a look here. Let's go to reviews, and let's find what the reviews have been for Assassin's Creed Unity.
Well, I think at this point everybody's pretty much aware of the situation. Like,
Game Trailers gives it 8 out of 10.
Well, yeah, all the reviewing sites, like, they make it look great.
But those are the people that should be the ones to say, hey, no, wait, this game isn't ready, it broke.
Theoretically, yes. If it is a particular bug that plagues all versions of the game, absolutely. But if they don't encounter a glitch or a bug during their play session, you can't, obviously get mad at them for it. We don't know. And on the other hand, the person doing it, who I'm sure is already dealing with the stress of having to complete a game in a short period of time so he can, write a big review on it before the release date, he's probably not even going to bat an eye. Unless it's a game-breaking glitch, he's not going to bat an eye. If it's common, if it keeps happening, he might mention it in his review, but unless it stops him from progressing through, he's not going to mention it. So,
don't know. Just when you look at like Metacritic, the critics give it 17 positive, 13 mixed, 2 negative. Then you jump over to the users, 154 positive, 36 mixed, which is pretty good, and 141 negative.
So, okay, I mean, we see a pattern, and people are sitting there now going like, well, what the hell? This game is broken. It's unplayable. I can't play this.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck is happening with the media?
Well, exactly.
Like, it's bringing out these kinds of questions, and now people are starting to investigate with that. It'll change the way that everybody treats video games.
Yeah. Totally agree.
This is almost like a passage we're taking here. We're growing into our... We've passed the teen years. We're now going into our adult stage.
Yeah.
Hey everyone, you want to record video game footage to your computer and be like cool guys like us? Well,
I do.
Console Xplosion.com, you can actually click our ad right here on the bottom, and you can get a Roxio HD video recorder for 20% off the regular price. That's right, save 20% off by just clicking the ad or link in the description, and you can get yourself any Roxio products that they offer 20% off. It's a huge deal.
20%?
That's right, 20%.
Holy shit.
20 and little percent sign. I don't know what those are called. Percent signs? Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna go with that.
All right. Either way, check it out. Links in the description. Ads right here. Hopefully you pick it. Check us out. Again, that's www.theconsoleexplosion.com. Scroll to the bottom. back to the show.
So, everybody, Christmas is around the corner. You're obviously listening to this a few days before the wonderful season of gift giving. And speaking of gift giving, right now I'd like to dive into what personally our greatest gifts were for the holiday season. Matt, what was your best gift, or I guess situation of gifts that you received over this wonderfulest season?
You're making it sound like it's going to be this big, expansive story, but the long and short of it, the greatest thing I've ever gotten for Christmas would have been back in, and I'm trying to pull the year out of my head, I want to say it was probably 98. I got a Nintendo 64. I was the only one that asked for it. My brother still from time to time refutes to this day. I have it. I still have this thing. It's mine. I know it is because I was the only fucking one that asked for it. But he seems to think it's for all of us. Naturally, when the parents buy it, it's like, oh, the kids will get a game console. But I fucking asked for it. It's mine. We played Diddy Kong Racing for hours on end. It was the only form of entertainment we had at Grandma and Grandpa's. Fucking awesome. With it, I think I got Super Mario 64 as well, so we had 2 games to go with it. And I've actually had no more than 2 controllers for this console. The same 2 controllers I got the day that day for Christmas.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
They still work. They've been through a lot of abuse. Like we're a family that, I shouldn't say that. My brother and I play Smash Brothers. My sister's tried, but we've abused the fuck out of these controllers. That's all I got to say. And Mario Party, lots of Mario Party. Both of those games, shit. It's amazing that my joystick has not fallen out of that controller yet.
Yeah, mine's the same way, but I have like 8 controllers. 4 of them were just for Mario Party, and the other 4 were like fixed up, souped up for Smash Brothers and racing and GoldenEye.
Nice.
So
we funny story. Just to give you an idea on what kind of a house I was brought into. We weren't allowed to play GoldenEye. But I had to go over to my friend's house, my neighbor next door, who's actually my best buddy, my best mate, my buddy,
my
friend,
best buddy,
guy.
my buddy. He's my best guy, buddy.
Still to this day, like, we're more of Perfect Dark fans. Frankly, I think that's superior. I appreciate GoldenEye to its fullest. It's great. It was the first. It did it right. Whatever. Perfect Dark built on that. And that's what we play. But I had to go to his house and play GoldenEye. I couldn't get it from my home. I was like, Mom and Dad, I want to play it, but no, they wouldn't let us do that. But at least I still got Smash Brothers. At least I was able to play that. Basically, if it wasn't an E rating, they were pretty much, like, fuck you, you're not getting it. Until I was old enough to buy my own games, which in turn I just got an Xbox, and the rest is history on that. So
fanboy.
Now it's your turn. You got to share with us your best gift.
My best gift for the holiday season was, as a younger days, nothing. Lived very poor, as I could say, when it comes to video game stuff. I came home one year in the summer, and my mom had bought a Nintendo, was the first Nintendo. Probably Boxing Day one year. I had paper money. I had a paper route, and I used that money to buy myself a Sega Genesis. PlayStation was just given to me as a gift on a random day.
Oh, wow.
Nintendo 64 was a birthday present. PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, I was there for launch. PlayStation 3 was Boxing Day after launch. PlayStation 4 was a Christmas present, but technically it was before Christmas. Like, bought way before. And
okay.
was given as in here's your present, and when it's released, you can go pick it up.
Well, okay. This doesn't
So
have to be. Sorry to interrupt, but this doesn't have to be limited to video games. Like, was there not like a gift that still in your mind stands out as like, oh my god, I can't believe I got that for Christmas. Like that was awesome.
not really for Christmas. It's always been the birthday presents for me.
Okay.
You know, my fight stick. You know, I'll tell you a funny story for anyone who's watched my Injustice fight stick video or my Injustice review video. um, I was given money from a birthday from, you know, my parentals, and I really wanted this fight stick. I explained to my fiance, this is what I want. This is like, I don't care if I get anything else. All I want is this fight stick. EB Games brought them in. They were there. They had an abundance of them. I knew I was getting money from my mom. So I'm like, okay, I'm excited. Got my money, went in there. They didn't have it. They sold out.
Oh.
But it sat there for a month. There's like 6 of them. They sat there for a month. All of a sudden I go in there and they're like, oh, we're all sold out. I was pissed.
Yeah, that's annoying as hell.
You know, I was pissed. And then, you know, my fiance is like, oh, well, don't worry. I got you something really good for your birthday. Don't worry. Don't worry. So birthday comes around. I'm excited. I'm overly excited because I'm thinking maybe she got me the fight stick, right?
Yeah.
Because she told me, she goes, if you find a fight stick, you're not allowed to buy it. So to me, that's like, oh, I must have got it. But she told me that about, you know, here's a list of things that you're not to buy. Something on that list I bought for you. Okay, so the fight stick was on there. So I'm like, oh, okay, maybe she got me one. So she's like, gives me this. She gives me this big box. I'm excited. I open it up. It's a fucking waffle iron.
Yeah. Isn't that awesome though? You get to make waffles.
And it was one of the ones where you put the waffle mix on one side, then you can flip it over and cook waffle mix on the other side.
This is the best
I know, it was a really good one, and I was happy. I was disappointed. I guess she said if she could have videotaped my face, it was like the biggest like letdown. But I'm like, yay, a waffle maker! I'm so excited, yay! Because that's what a gamer / collector really wants, is a waffle iron.
Yeah, right.
Right? I'm like, woo!
How much did that cost? I'm sure you could buy me a nice statue at the collector's store.
Pretty much, right? You're like, fuck it, I got a waffle iron, and she could have easily used that to buy, you know, a game, you know, something that follows, you know, my collection, video games, statues, potato heads, anything. And it's like, hey, a waffle iron, and it was just like, it hurt. But you can't like say it like, oh hey fiance, guess what, thanks for ruining my birthday.
I don't know.
So but I was happy nonetheless, put a smile on, went downstairs, and she came out with the box and said, here it is. Opened it up, and yeah, it was my fight stick.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
so you got a waffle iron and a fight stick.
I got a waffle iron and a fight stick, yes.
That's even better.
But that was probably the first gift that I can ever really state that I wanted specifically, I got. Actually, for one Christmas, my fiance actually got me the Marvel Zombies Hulk.
Oh, nice.
I bought the Captain America and Spider-Man, and she bought me the Hulk, which was hard to find at the time. So she completed my collection of Marvel zombie characters.
Well, there you go. I don't have a girl like that. So I don't know what you're complaining about.
No, I know, but then I mean, like I said, that's just, those are the two, and that's probably the one Christmas one. But that birthday one, yeah, just I get bugged about it every day, still to this day.
Yeah,
about the waffle iron.
I'm
and
sure
every
it was
time
funny.
Every time I pull the waffle iron out, a little bit of me dies inside because it's like,
oh jeez,
fucking waffle maker.
But you still use it.
Oh, because then they make great waffles.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, I love my waffles.
Well, all right then. That was a good story.
Yeah.
Good story there, boy. Shall we move on to the mentions?
Let's move on to the mentionables, the unmentionables.
Hopeful mentions.
Dishonorable mentions. Either
way you look at it, these are the headlines as of December 16. So, I don't know if you heard, Jared, but Beetlejuice Deuce. Beetlejuice Deuce. Let me do that again. So, okay. I'm sure we heard of the notion of Beetlejuice 2 floating around. Tim Burton has officially confirmed that the project is happening. That's going to happen. Not only that, because Michael Keaton's part of the project, we already have him revising, or that's the word I want to say? Revising? No. Reprising his role. But along with that news, they also wanted to say that Winona Ryder will very much so be part of this next installment of Beetlejuice.
Really?
Yes, and I'm trying to find a quote. They said in the interview, Burton said when MTV News asked if he'd be directing the sequel, in his response to the question of whether or not Winona Ryder would be returning, he goes, "Oh yeah, 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 oh yeah, 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 oh yeah." Well,
I don't know. I mean, it would. I hope they bring the rest of the characters back. I mean, the parents were a good role. Gina Davis and her husband character were, a pinnacle to the story. If they bring Winona Ryder back,
Yeah.
unless they like close the book and she moves somewhere else, and
Hey, you know what? It's promising.
I guess it's all in the story.
It's very promising. It sounds like they're calling the right shots. At least we have Beetlejuice, and we got Winona Ryder, so we're good. And Tim Burton's directed. It's not even some like secondhand fucking cock.
Yeah, but Tim Burton's newer movies have kind of been like not as good.
No doubt it'll probably be dressed up most definitely in the same fashion as like Alice in Wonderland.
Oh, that movie was garbage.
Waves have been made on the internet recently of a slimmer, sexier gamepad for the Wii U. I don't know if anybody has seen the screenshots, but there was an official Nintendo video released, which I believe was in Japan. Yes, it was a Japanese Mario Kart 8 advertisement that seems to have a slightly smaller gamepad with a slightly larger game screen. So it's starting to raise questions. Is this going to be a new model that we'll see in the coming future? Although nothing is being confirmed by Nintendo, sources are being very tight-lipped on it. It seems very foolish of Nintendo to make, that kind of mistake. I feel it's completely intentional and they're just generating buzz right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's all part of the strategy, people. Who knows? Maybe we'll get maybe we'll get it at CES. I'm trying to say like we'll wait till E3, but I think we're gonna get it sooner than that.
Yeah.
And it'll either be through Nintendo Direct, where it might be unveiled officially, and then we'll see something more of a physical form of it in, CES, or maybe it'll go vice versa. I don't know. Nintendo likes to keep their shit exclusive to their channel now, so I can't speak on their behalf. Forget I'm saying anything. If you guys want to see the screenshots, the link will be in the description. With the whole GameCube adapter craze, there's this little company called PDP, which I'm not entirely sure on what the acronym stands for. Frankly, I'm not familiar with these guys. But these guys have designed GameCube controllers, at least controllers that resemble a GameCube controller. And they're built specially for the Wii U console. They come in 4 varieties. Each controller is themed to a particular character for Smash Brothers. So there's Donkey Kong, Wario, Link, and Samus. And the controllers come in their corresponding colors. And they have a cool little logo of the character in the middle. Otherwise, it's a GameCube controller that you can use on the console. And it's not limited to Smash Brothers. At least not yet. From what I hear, you don't need the GameCube adapter to use these things.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Wow.
It plugs into the Wiimote controller, similar to that of the classic.
Now it makes sense.
Now it makes sense. Yeah, so you're not completely cords free, although, that Wiimote's, the cords are long enough. You can tuck it in your pocket, basically cordless. Not much to say about this. But Call of Duty Advanced Warfare has seen a very steady decline in sales since the release. While the series is still a bestseller, the numbers seemingly peaked with Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. and they're saying that the latest outing has been struck by a 27% year-over-year decline in the United States alone. So for a game that glamorizes the United States military has seen a 27% decline in sales in its own country. That's pretty crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a sign. People are sick of it.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's specifically Call of Duty, but naturally that's the name tied to the first-person shooter. They might as well just call it FPS.
Yeah.
Because those are the core mechanics, and that's all they fucking do with it. I think people are just sick of doing the run and gun thing. Not everybody.
Yeah.
PC community certainly is more than welcoming to it. Counter-Strike is huge, but
Counter-Strike's something that will never die for some reason. It just keeps going.
It's the fans that keep it alive. Call of Duty is only noting this because it's been such a huge franchise, and now their demographic is probably now starting to be like, okay, well, it's the same game. I mean, they tried to change something with the exoskeletons, but I heard that still didn't like it is refreshing. It's certainly, in comparison to the last 3 iterations of Call of Duty, this is certainly a more refreshing experience, but it doesn't steer too far from what it used to be. So yeah, I think people are just sick of playing the same game over. Like, there actually is a line that can be drawn in the sand. I didn't think it was possible.
For me, like, personally, I only pick up the ones that have zombies. Plain and simple.
I hear zombies
this one
is
didn't
coming
have
to
zombies.
Advanced Warfare, though. They were bringing it out in DLC.
And I'll look at it when it comes out. But for me, if it didn't come with the zombies, I'm not buying it to buy the DLC.
That is fair. Did you try Ghosts? Because they had a zombies version with aliens, I hear.
Yes, I have that. That was neat because it was co-op, and you go from point A to point B, fighting the aliens. That was fun. That was different. It shook it up a bit. But really, I play the Call of Duty games for the online, and when I was playing online with Ghost and being ridiculed by 12-year-olds, and I play Battlefield 4, and you're not ridiculed, you have people saying, hey, good job, and working as a team to get the objectives done. I haven't put Ghost back in.
Now, naturally, when these sort of things happen within the industry, people, spectators go to other big titles that were released at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's no doubt it was a relatively big fall season in comparison to what we've had in the last couple of years.
Yep.
With Halo, Far Cry, Assassin's Creed, and Call of Duty all coming out with their latest versions at the same time. No doubt you're going to have some tug and pull. Like, this is a 4-way tug of war, more or less. Probably people got sick of playing a broken game of Assassin's Creed and went back to Call of Duty, but it's I think it's just time. People are sick of Call of Duty. I want to say it. I would like to believe that people are sick of Call of Duty because, frankly, I am sick of hearing about it.
I'm sick of seeing it every
year.
Every couple of years, right? Every 2 months, it almost feels like, oh, new Call of Duty, new DLC, new this. I think for Ghosts, they didn't do much for it, like promotion wise, compared to like Black Ops.
No. They did
Black
it
Ops
because
2.
It had to be a launch title for the next gen. They had a launch title for the 360. They had they launched Call of Duty on that next generation. They were the first to do that. So naturally they wanted to be there for the 4th generation of console. What generation are we on? This got to be like 8.
10.
10? Okay. Wow.
If you go back to like
If we just consider it like limited to pixel graphics.
So
or
Nintendo Super.
Yeah, you're right.
64.
Polygons.
64. The next
Saturn,
would be Dreamcast, Saturn, PlayStation 1, 2, 3,
GameCube.
4. Oh, GameCube, Wii. So we're on 10.
Well, there's been 10 consoles, but if we just talk about generations, come on.
Well, they're all in their own generation.
Well, no. The PlayStation 2, GameCube, and Xbox are all one generation.
Yeah.
The
The Wii is technically its own generation
The Dream-
because of the whole way that I was all set up.
No,
Dreamcast
it's not
and-
based on game style and how it's played. It's just a console in its release. If we say a generation lasts for 5 years, if it's released within that 5 years, it's considered part of that generation. The Wii just so happens to be the last of that because it was the last to get out. If we go back to the 90s, technically Dreamcast would be part of the same generation as the PS2 and the GameCube and the Xbox, because it came out late after the 64, and when the
right,
Saturn
really late,
failed, like all that kind of stuff. So I would almost, like, just doing a quick off my head, I would say we're hitting 4th gen, just with polygons.
Just with polygons.
Yeah.
Well, how about this? How about we use the World Wide Web and just say, here, I'll hit microphone. What generation, fucking thing, what generation of consoles are we in? Apparently speech to text don't work. Fuck you, Google.
Did you actually speech to text?
Yep.
That shit never works. They can't even read it back to you properly.
Yeah. And we are 8th generation.
Okay.
So I was right.
You said 10.
I said it could have been 10.
Like to keep it a range. Could have been 6. No, it was more like 12, but I'm going to say it was 8.
Well, because they're adding in 1972 to 1980, 1976 to 1992,
Yeah.
83 to 2000, 87 to 2003, 93 to 2006,
Yeah.
98 to 2013,
Okay.
2004 to now, and then now 2011 on.
Okay. But like the landscape is about to change again, like how consoles play, how games are made, how shit is treated, like all of that's coming into question now, and it's all going to change on us again.
Yeah.
So when polygons came in, it changed our entire perspective on what a game actually is, and introduced us to 3D and see where that took us, right? Like now we hate it. Now we hate Call of Duty. Now we got virtual reality around the corner, which I think is just the stepping stone to what is ultimately going to be the end result of full immersion into a game, which I see as the next future age of gaming. And we're just on the cusp of it. Like, less than a year and that shit's going to be in homes. Anyways. Any more to say on it? Because I don't want to cut you off.
No. That's good.
That's good. On that note, we shall continue. And it's great that I'm talking about virtual reality, because it needs to be mentioned that Oculus just hired the brains behind one of virtual reality's most promising hand tracking technology. Apparently, it's called Nimble VR. I'll leave you guys to, scrape out the details. You can Google it. They've been working on hand tracking with 3D camera technology, such as like Kinect and stuff. They've been doing it since 2012, and they're picked up by Oculus. So the prototypes are only going to get better, guys. It's good to see. It'll be good to see where this goes. I'm very excited. Sony Pictures. From what I hear, emails have been hacked. Servers were breached. And information came out. And in that collection of emails that were collected, in the collection, if you didn't know that, a collection that was collected. Yes, in this collection of emails, apparently there was some talks of a Super Mario Brothers movie that Sony is doing in collaboration with Nintendo.
I didn't hear that.
And I quote, "I am the proud father of Mario the animated film," says producer Avi Arad. While later a trip in July read, "I am heading to Tokyo. I am going to try and bring back a little plumber. I guess we can all use our pipes cleaned." And apparently there have been images of Arad accompanied by Nintendo's Satoru Iwata and Shigeru Miyamoto. So there could be a partnership happening here. Would that just be the craziest thing if Sony Pictures started making Nintendo movies?
If they're animated, they'd be done right.
That's true. That's why I'm not pissed about this, and I'm so glad that you're not going crazy on it. Well, I feel like that almost draws a line in the sand for fanboys. Sony can't touch Nintendo. Nintendo can't touch Sony. The two don't work. They're like.
I don't even think of that. I think that
good.
Sony in general as a movie producing company is pretty top notch.
Yeah. And
they look after their franchises despite Spider-Man 2.
But I do believe the gaming division is completely separate from their film division. So there might not be that bias.
But you have to look at what Sony Pictures is coming out with. Ratchet and Clank movie, Jackson Daxter movie, Sly Cooper movie, all coming out in theaters.
They want to capitalize on video games.
Yeah, so for them to...
Just like Disney capitalized on comic books.
Exactly. So if you think about if Sony's like, well, you know what, we're going to become the monster monopoly for video game movies, they're going to do it. And they have... some animators underneath their belt that are really good. The Sly Cooper trailer is amazing. So
yeah, good stuff. I'm certainly excited to see how this story develops.
Mm-hmm.
On that related note, Sega too is working on developing classic video game franchises into TV and movie programming. Some of these franchises include Shinobi, Golden Axe, Altered Beast, Virtua Fighter, and Crazy Taxi. It says here that, and I didn't know this, Sega apparently has a production arm. It goes by the name of Stories International. And they say it's a joint venture between Sega and a Japanese advertising agency called Hakuhodo DY Group. The subsidiary controls 40 Sega intellectual properties, which include those franchises I said before, as well as Streets of Rage and Rise of Nightmares.
Streets of Rage would be a good movie.
Yeah. Be like the Warriors or something.
Yeah.
That'd be sweet. And I guess you could say that we're sort of seeing this happen with Sonic Boom. Nothing really says in the article here that it's connected, but it's coincidental, I guess, to see that this is happening in light of the Sonic Boom series starting and the game sort of being a flop, but I think there was also been talks of a House of Dead TV show, which would be pretty cool.
It can't be any worse than the movie.
If Walking Dead can succeed, House of Dead can as well.
Have you seen
The Walking
House
Dead?
of the Dead?
No. The movie? No.
Watch it.
Why do
Watch
I
it.
Why do I care to watch it?
You want to see
it was directed by Uwe Ball. It sucks.
Watch it.
I know it sucks.
You guys, you should watch it.
No, that's a video game movie made in 2003. You disregard those films. They do not exist. We do not speak.
But if you watch The House of the Dead 2, was far superior. And that was a good movie.
Okay. But
so watch it.
TV.
Watch.
No, TV's a better place for it.
I don't know. I wouldn't mind to see it done right on a big screen. There's too many zombie movies or too many zombie shows on TV. It's getting oversaturated.
Well, right now the market is warm. I mean, if they do it after the world is sick of zombies, it's not really going to succeed now, is it?
But if you do movies, capitalize on the movies.
Yeah, but I think they have a better chance of succeeding on a TV format more than a film.
Yeah.
You can just expand so much further into the story, and
I agree.
Yeah. And then you don't have to half-ass things or leave certain elements out and cause outrage from the community and the fanboys. I mean, even though that still happens with Walking Dead. But it seems like even some characters have just been kind of moved around. Like, I'm not following the show or anything.
Oh no, I watch
Like,
every show.
like I've just heard of, like, at times there would be people going like, where is this character? Or why is this character like this? And then it turns out that character they're talking about is coming later. I mean, that's not said in the moment, but come like a year down the road, it's like, oh yeah, this is a character that should have been out, for a series, but instead they implemented into the story this way. That's just what I've heard through the grapevine. I
own all the comics. I read all the comics. I have them from the first one to the newest one, and I've watched every episode. And
fanboy.
Yeah, I'll agree. I'm a fanboy. I like The Walking Dead, hands down. It's enjoyable, both iterations of the project.
Yeah.
But you hear the people say, well, this person isn't in it. You're right. This person isn't in it because in the comics, they're dead. Or characters who aren't alive in the comics are still alive in the TV show, but they're dead in the comics. And vice versa. People who are alive in the comics are dead in the TV show.
That's interesting.
So they're not trying to follow, Robert Kirkman said, I'm not trying to follow, the comics. It's technically its own story, and people gotta understand that. Like Sophia is alive in the comics, but she died in the third season, in the show. So
I mean, naturally you don't want to spoil it before the story ends on the TV show.
exactly, and that's the whole thing. He's like, I gotta shake it up. He's like, I can kill main characters off in the comic books left, right, and center. No one bats an eye at it. But because people get so emotional to these characters on TV because they get to know them, and that's why people are like, oh, he's like, it is what it is. He's like, I have to be careful in who I do. Like Norman Reedus's character, Daryl, isn't even in the comics.
Well, there you go. Yeah.
He's not even a character.
Maybe not yet.
Maybe not yet, but he's not now. So
I mean, you have these fleshed out characters. Not to say that they can't exist in alternate universes, but why not recycle that character you've already spent so much time developing and creating? Especially if he can prove useful in the plot, but that's just my opinion.
No, exactly. And I just want to throw something out from our last conversation that we're talking about Sony and Sony, becoming, game property movies.
Yeah.
They actually own the company that does the TV show for Ape Escape.
Oh, really?
And
I did not know there was a TV show for Ape Escape.
Neither did I, but they're also the company that's behind Adventure Time.
Nice.
So they have a lot of independent Fredador Productions.
Okay, a thought just came into my head. You said Adventure Time, then I started thinking Pendleton Ward. If Pendleton Ward got in tight with Sony, which I'm sure he already is, and just out of the blue, let's say he ends Adventure Time, what project does he move on to next? And Sony approaches him, and they go, we want you to make us a new TV show for kids. It's got to be from one of our franchises on the PlayStation platform. Which game do you think he goes with?
There's so many to pick from.
Just pick one. Just give me one. I don't need explanation.
I think the one that they're producing right now, Roller Coaster Tycoon.
No. See, that's something that's already happening. I'm talking about a completely, a project that isn't happening right now. Something that you would think only Pendleton Ward could take over. Have you seen Adventure Time?
Yes.
Okay. So think of what Sony could do, maybe applying Adventure Time to a different face lift. I don't know. Different look. It'll more or less have the same brand of humor, I would assume.
Katamari Damacy.
Nice. That's actually a good one. That's actually a good one. I did not expect that. I was thinking Little Big Planet.
Yeah.
Because I could totally see the Sack people, or I guess it's Sack Boy, but they've come out in different genders, and you can dress up and all kind of things. You could almost make it like a Smurfs.
Yeah. Sony owns the Smurfs.
but the creation in Little Big Planet makes it virtually endless. Not saying it has to be done in the game. I'm just saying like because that there's so much customization in there, it would be the most palatable for Pendleton Ward to just copy and paste Adventure Time into.
And I think the same sense with Katamari. You
Yes,
think about
absolutely.
the whole wackiness and just how crazy that show is. Yeah, I think that's awesome.
Yeah. So, anyways, sorry for the listeners out there if you hated that little bit. I had to ask it.
Exactly.
And there's only a few left. Don't worry, we're almost done here, people.
Don't make it sound like it's a chore to get through them.
Well, maybe it's painful to listen when we're, okay, we're going on track and then we get way off track and then it goes off and we don't have a destination now. It's just, we basically stumble and then we're like, okay, let's get back to what we're doing. Like,
hey folks,
I hate
if you
sending
don't like this
circles.
conversation, just click the little button ahead a little bit.
No, don't go. Don't go, please don't.
No, just move it a little bit to continue the conversation.
You just kind of have a courtesy for people. I'm just saying. Sorry. You know who's not sorry though? And that's probably the best segue I can make for this. John Romero is not sorry for making Doom for you 21 years ago. On the 10th of December, they celebrated their anniversary of 21 years. And in celebration of that, John Romero on his Twitter released some unreleased development pictures from the first Doom game. Like sprite images, models, assets that were not used in the final product. He shared that with us. If you guys want to check it out, it's an article here on PC Gamer, but I'm also, again, all the links will be in the description so you could check out the slideshow. They got some cool pictures.
I think it'd be fun to track down Ray Romano and ask him questions about making Doom.
Ray Romano?
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh. Okay.
Everyone loves Raymond.
Yes.
Yes.
I don't love Raymond.
Neither do I. I never watched the show.
Well, okay. We're done on that note.
Cha-ching!
I should have brought this up while we were still talking about the Sony Pictures thing. Have you seen this Pixel movie posters that just came out today?
Yes.
Have you seen the short movie that
No.
this movie is based on?
No.
An individual by the name of Patrick Jean created a little two maybe 3-minute short film where the arcade machines come to life and then they take over the planet and they basically turn the entire planet into pixels. But it's like Space Invaders come down. I love the Centipede poster. There's not even Centipede in the short film. They're obviously expanding further on this. I bet you we're going to see every single arcade game there is. They even had in the short film, he even had his own version of Donkey Kong, on top of the Empire State Building, and he's just throwing stuff down. And then there's Pong. There was also Pong.
Yeah.
And Tetris was happening. Tetris pieces were dropping down, and they would complete their set. It would be like Tetris, but it would take out entire chunks of buildings.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw a snippet of that.
It's really cool. I'm excited to see where this goes. I had no idea they were making a movie on it, but man, it makes me so happy.
Yeah, that's
Apparently, okay, so the posters came out, blah, blah, blah. Hold on, let me read.
So while you're reading that, talking about Pong, did you know in Germany, when you go to the crosswalk and you press the button to cross the road, you can actually play Pong with someone else on the other side. You press the button, and then it turns into a Pong game.
Yeah.
And then you can play Pong with the person on the other side while you're waiting to cross the street.
Nice. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, apparently Adam Sandler is tied to this project.
Oh, Jesus.
as well as Josh Gad and Peter Dinklage.
Yeah.
It says they form a trio of old school arcade champions that are the world's only hope against invading aliens that misinterpret Earth's video games as a declaration of war. I mean, it's a crazy concept, but I mean, what's going to make this game shine are the special effects, no doubt.
Mm-hmm.
It's more or less a monster movie that features your favorite arcade titles.
Yes.
Like Pac-Man deep-throating the Eiffel Tower and stuff like that.
One thing that I think is awesome is that if they do this, what is it? Legendary Pictures, or is it Legendary Pictures?
Doing the World of Warcraft movie? Is that what you're getting at? Because I know that's who they're tied to.
No. Pacific Rim.
Pretty sure it was Legendary.
You're pretty sure, yeah. Legendary. Yep, I just picked it. Warner Brother Pictures and Legendary. They own the rights to Pacific Rim.
Right.
They also own the rights to King Kong, and they own the rights to Godzilla.
Okay.
Crossover. All three of those movies.
That will never happen, but it would be cool. Sorry to put kibosh on it there.
Why would you kibosh that? That's amazing. Toho's making a new
I didn't
Godzilla
like
movie.
Pacific Rim like you did, obviously.
I never watched Pacific Rim.
No, you don't waste your time.
I'm waiting for it
Really?
to show up on Netflix.
Okay. Well, that's enough for me. I didn't even want the conversation to go this long, but I guess this being our last one for the year, we gotta give it to you guys.
Yep. He's got to stop being such an old man and just...
It's exhausting talking sometimes. Especially if you gotta try and, like, stopping yourself from crashing and burning. And I emphasis on trying.
Yeah. But yes, nonetheless, this is the last podcast for 2014. Join us as we
start our new season next year.
Start our new season next year, yeah. We got, like I said at the beginning of the show, we have some great new content. We have some great new features. Some old shows, new shows. Some current shows might be canceled. But 2015 is going to be a hot year for us, so look out.
Spring cleaning happens. It's there.
Yep.
But nonetheless,
follow the Console Xplosion at the Console Explorer. No, at consoleexplosion.com. Wait.
do you want to collect yourself?
Let me start that over again. Make sure you follow us at Console Xplosion on Twitter. Follow us, of course, here on YouTube. Check out all our videos and content on Facebook, where you can comment and ask questions to the gang. Yeah, we're looking for some more interaction with you folks. Check out our website, of course, www.theconsoleexplosion.com, for all your news and gaming geek needs. Twitter, make sure you check that out. Or no, not Twitter, Twitch, as we'll be twitching our way to some live streams, hopefully here over the holiday season, as well as well into 2015. Yeah, looking forward to that. My name's Kaztech from Ottawa, Ontario. I bid you adieu.
Okay, and you know me, I'm Matt from the Co-op Couch. You can definitely touch base with me on Twitter. At GingyBeardyGuy is the handle, and it's the same across the board. That's me on YouTube. That's me on Twitch. You can also check out Co-op Couch. We're on the website. We actually have a URL now, which is awesome. theconsoleexplosion.com/the Co-op Couch. That's what you can do to check us out and keep up to date with everything that's going on. Aside from that, I don't think there's much more to say.
Except for like, comment, and share.
Well, of course, that's implied. I mean, I'm whoring myself out to you guys. Got to get something in return, and not just STD.
Well, I told you not to sleep with my mom.
Ew.
I
That's
told you.
your mom
I
has an
told ya.
STD.
I don't know. I'm just fucking with you.
Oh, I'm sorry, Jared's mother. If she listens.
He's not.
My mom.
My mom doesn't watch the show. She thinks we're ridiculous.
Nah. Okay, Kaz. We'll put an end to this. Good game, sir.
Good game.